Greetings everyone, my name is Tony Holowitz, and in this tutorial I want to talk to you about recording a call that you've placed to a contact in Act. So I recently had a conversation with a client of mine, and this client was not recording when they called a contact. And I said, the reason you want to record things is because you can now in the future find people you have called, people you haven't called, and people that you haven't called for a certain amount of time. For example, let's call it 180 days. So the importance of recording things in Act is because then you can find things that are important, people you have forgotten about or haven't called in a long time. So how do you do that? Well, when I'm looking at a contact, and I'm using my contact as an example, what you do is as you're dialing the phone and calling this person, you will go up and click on History right there. Now, you'll notice that right here it says Type and Result. I have set it in Preferences, so by default, when I click on History, I've set it to Call and Call Completed. And the reason I do that is this. Technically, in my opinion, 99.9% of the time, when you call someone, you either speak to them, that's the first outcome, or two, you leave them a message. But either way, that call has been completed. On that note, because of that, here in this regarding field, the only thing I'm really concerned about is whether I left a message or spoke to them. So when I call someone, after I get done with the call, I record it as either I left a message or I spoke to the person. In this case, let's say I left a message. Now, what's more important here is not so much what I put in the regarding field, but in my opinion, the key element or the key thing or takeaway is what is going to happen after I come down and click on Save. When I click Save, I want to draw your attention up to the last reach field in Act, right here, the call reach field. So this put the date in. Now, if you don't see the date for whatever reason, it's just because Act has not refreshed itself. It hasn't updated the information. If you navigate away from this contact, or if you simply press the F5 key on the keyboard, you will see that now that field is updated with today's date. So now the call reach is 10/19/23. Now, if I wanted to do a search in my entire database of all the contacts who either the call reach is older than a certain date, or if the call reach is completely empty, I can do that. And that's why it's so important to record things, because it allows you in the future to find contacts that are relevant or important to you. So record things and make sure you in the future say to yourself, hey, who haven't I called for a while? And you'll be able to find them easily based on the call reach field. You'll notice also there's a call attempt field. I typically, when I'm working with my clients, I take that out because I think that's overkill. I'm not as concerned in recording whether I reach them or just attempted. Again, based on that 99.9% rule, I just assume I either left a message or I spoke to them. And that's why sometimes you eliminate some of the fields that aren't really that relevant. And typically I take out the call attempt field and don't even bother with that. So that's just my opinion, my approach, my thoughts on using the call reach field. Thank you so very much. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach back to me. Be well, my friends.